Pieter-Steph, I know every test match is very important to you guys, but do you get a feeling that there's something different about this one? A bit more excitement, a bit more nerves?
Yeah, I would say it's a very different tournament. It's the first time I play a tournament like this, and especially to host New Zealand in South Africa for 4 games for us, it's 3 games. It's a massive honour and a privilege, and to be able to play against them and get the opportunity to play against them again, especially in Ellis Park, is it's very special for myself and the whole team. So I really hope we can make the best out of Saturday.
Pieter-Steph, you have families around today. Is that usual for a game, and how special to be able to be here with families and kids around?
Yeah, we've got an open policy, so families always allowed in our environment, and we've been doing that since the coaching staff took over in 2018. So for us, being allowed family here, it gives us a very relaxed environment, and again, it puts you in a place where you have comfort before the test match on Saturday. So yeah, it's something we're very used to at the moment.
You played a lot with Damien. How special for him tomorrow against the All Blacks playing at home?
Yeah, to see Damien playing 100 test matches for the Springboks, an unbelievable honour to play with him as well. I still remember watching, the first time I watched him when he played for the Stormers, he played wing, and he came up and I just saw this guy as a beast, and especially the way he carried the ball and was in defence. So I've got so much respect for him, the way he carries himself on the field and off the field, and how he's grown as a person. It's nice to see that and how people make progress in life.
Yeah.
I think the captaining the team in a test match, especially against the All Blacks, is tremendous honor. But I imagine it also brings a considerable personal pressure to you. So how do you deal with that pressure, and are you able to tie it into the motivation?
Like I mentioned previously as well, so we've got a very good system, and with all our coaches and the players around me and around everyone, it makes it much easier. We've got so many senior players, and people have played for the Springboks a lot of test matches. So being able to captain is a huge honour and a privilege for myself, but it doesn't change anything for me. I'm quite still focused on my game, and what I have to do Saturday is play well, and the rest will take care of itself.
Coach Walker, very different type of series, 4 tests, 4 weeks, very different back schedule. How has that changed preparation in the last week? Has it really been a bit different in terms of having to manage the players to try and get to the next 4 weeks, or has it been pretty situation as normal?
Yeah, I think, like Pete mentioned earlier on, playing 4 games in one season against the All Blacks, it's always going to be a great challenge, And I think these are the moments that we live for, And once again, I think the closest thing to probably the greatest rivalry that we're going to be starting now is probably the British and Irish Lions series, where every game counts, And also probably, if you look at the playoffs in the World Cup, I think our mindset for these games, I think we've also started to draw some strength from those experiences that we had with those other teams in the World Cup. But once again, I think just for us an opportunity to represent our country is something that we don't take it for granted. So we know it's going to be a tough challenge. All Blacks are in a good space at the moment. You can see as a team they're starting to play very well, week in, week out. And but once again, also from our side, we always say, even after winning the World Cup, we will never be comfortable to where we are. We keep on improving and evolving, And then having guys like also Tony Brown and Jerry joining our squad, after the World Cup, it showed what is our mindset as a team. We always want to evolve and keep getting better. I think nothing different, but otherwise, when it comes to this game, the greatest rivalry, it's something I have to be honest and say it's a very, very unique thing. Whoever came up with it now to bring it back, we are the first time we're getting involved in it. I'm not sure if Russ's age allows him back in 1996. But I think it's something exciting, to play against the All Blacks 4 weeks in a row. I think it doesn't get tougher than that, So we are excited, and I know it's a great challenge.
Yeah, Coach, Liam here from SABC Sport. Look at Sia obviously not being in the team now, that the lineup, Paul de Villiers, he's filled the boots tremendously. He was at Ellis Park where he made his debut a few weeks ago. Just what have you made of his progress in the team?
Yeah, again, not having Sia in our we know he's our captain. He's our leader. Not having him will always be a big loss for us. But once again, I think people now, they're starting to see the things sometimes the changes when it comes to giving some of the players opportunities, We didn't know Sia that he was not going to be ready for this game, but the trust that we've showed on Paul de Villiers, from the beginning, against big teams, gave him an opportunity, and then everyone is talking about him now, But one thing that I enjoy about him is the maturity, at that age, he understands his role very well in the team, and like we always say, irrespective of your age, if you take full ownership of what needs to be done in the team, you are also a leader and a senior in your space, And I must say the boy is a very, very smart boy when it comes to his head, and the way he works hard. I think the opportunity that he's getting, I know it's a different beast, Playing against the All Blacks, it's probably one of the toughest games you can ever play in your career, But I think he's the right person. He's a warrior. He doesn't stand back for anyone, And that's what you need for this game, So I'm excited and looking forward to see what he can do. But once again, he's got strong people around him. If you look at the combination, he doesn't have to worry about Pieter-Steph job. PT will do his job. Jasper will do his job. They're experienced enough. And that's one thing that I enjoy about, most especially with our leadership group around. They always empower the youngsters, And I think that brings the best out of them, So I'm excited, and hopefully he can also have a great show.
Skip, how are you looking forward to this game again? It's been a huge build-up to it. Lots of excitement across the world, I guess, all eyes on this game. But then you're someone who always wants to go on the field and do your job. Do you pay attention to all the noise around it during the build-up, and how eager are you again to just kick-start the series, as it's a huge one, all eyes on it?
Yeah, of course, it's impossible not to know in this wonderful series you're going in and what's going around it, and all the noise and the build-up to the series. So for myself, it's a massive honor and a privilege. I never dreamed about playing against All Blacks for 4 straight games, or in a competition where it's called the greatest rivalry. So for me, it's again a massive honor and privilege, and to do it in South Africa, it's so nice for us, and I think the supporters in South Africa and rugby overall will benefit from this tournament. You'll see how passionate the Springboks supporters are, and you'll see this New Zealand supporters as well. So it's going to be an awesome thing. And then, I would say what happens on Saturday is probably the main thing, and that's what we prepare for.
Coach Dick, just looking at the makeup of the bench, I'm seeing there Henry Wissels as opposed to a Frogler, for example, Zachary Portin as opposed to maybe a Du Toit, Kobus Wissels as opposed to a Ludiaga, and Libok as opposed to a Pollard. Does that, I see mobility, I see people that can get around the park as well. Is that maybe geared towards what you expect in terms of intensity from the All Blacks?
I think from the coach's side, it's always a tough challenge to select the match 23. Week in, week out, even all the other games that we've played in the Nations Championship, there was always heavy debates, in the boardroom between us as coaches, And then once again, I think same goes with this week. On Sunday when we were discussing about probably the best possible 23, we always look at the challenge first, and the challenge that the All Blacks are going to bring. They talk about their high tempo game. They talk about keeping ball in play time, So once again, I think for us, we had to make sure that we select the best possible team for us to perform on the week. Doesn't mean next week it's going to be the same team, do you understand? But once again, you've mentioned these individuals, If you look at a guy like Zach and Jan-Hendrik Wissels, every time when they come off the bench, they always bring massive impact, And that's a key thing for us. We're not only looking for 60-minute performance, we're looking for 80-minute performance. And then when we looked at the squad that we've selected, probably those are the guys that could do the job for us. Again, you're playing against the All Blacks. There were days where after 60th minute, they used to lift the tempo up, But now we've got also, I think, some of the youngsters on the bench that probably have a lot of energy. You've seen what Zach can do off the bench. You've seen what Jan-Hendrik can do off the bench. And also, again, we don't mention the guys like Mzwandile Stick. Mzwandile Stick is one of the experienced players currently now. The way he's been operating in our system, you've got Kobus also on the bench. So it's a well-balanced bench in the sense of if you need some guys with proper brains, they still got guys that can manage the game at the end, a guy like Mzwandile Stick and Kobus. But when it comes to the youngsters that you've mentioned, I think, they're always going to bring energy. I think that's the most important thing from them.
Peter, can I ask you where you think the
the test's going to be, where the battle's going to be tomorrow on the field?
Yeah, it's gonna. We know New Zealand is going to bring it in intensity, and we really believe the lineouts and the scrum is going to be something where we're going to perform well. They're not going to try and test us, and again, it's certain points where New Zealand is going to try and find gaps where the forwards are trying where we normally switch us off. We know they're quite fast and very skillful players, so they're definitely going to try and exploit us and come with good plans as well. So I would say probably is just try and stay awake, don't get caught out.
Rob is off.